I remember just being in that waiting season, in that season of desperation. My heart was desperate, not just for a diagnosis, but the just what's going to happen moment, right? And so I remember just wanting the answer right away. I didn't know really what to expect after getting a diagnosis, but I just know that in the waiting, there was a desperation within me. Welcome to the Uniquely Wired podcast. I'm your host, Anani, and y'all know I cannot leave my water out. Okay. I'm obsessed with this tumbler. But anyways, um, you may be wondering, what do I mean by what to do in the waiting, right? Just like it says in the title of this episode. Um, and so, just trusting God in the unseen progress. And so, I have my notes here, by the way, that's what I'm looking at. But I'll be speaking directly to autism families because, that's my life. That's what I live on a day to day basis, not just in the month of April. This is a year long um, journey that we live. But I also believe that all special needs families can benefit from this. So if you know any autism family, share this with them. If you know any family that's raising a child with Down syndrome, share this with them. If you know a family that's raising a child with cerebral palsy, share this with them, or sensory processing disorder, ADHD, share this episode with them because it's going to bless them, especially if you know they are just needing desperate hope. Okay. I want them to be able to get a hold of this episode. And so, okay, what do I mean by waiting? Like, girl, what do you mean? Like, talk to me, okay? And so, what I mean is whether you're waiting for a diagnosis, right? An official diagnosis. So, maybe you're listening to this podcast because you know your child is autistic. However, you have not gotten an official diagnosis through a professional doctor or specialist where it is written on paper. And so, maybe you're waiting for that, right? Um, Maybe you're waiting for services such as therapies, um, just grants, whatever it is. Uh, Maybe you're waiting for progress for your child to hit that milestone that you want them to do so badly, whether it is to brush their own teeth on their own, take a bath on their own, um, get dressed on their own. Like the simplest of things that neurotypical people do easily on a day-to-day basis, but your child cannot just yet do that. Maybe you're waiting for that. Um, or maybe you're just waiting for a moment to inhale and exhale. Okay, because listen, I need my time always to just like, okay, let me take a deep breath and take a deep breath out. Um, and so I've been doing that, especially because the weather is just been beautiful outside down here where we live, and summer is definitely quickly approaching. We are about to hit May, which by the time you hear this it's already the month of May. But it's just crazy to me how quickly this year is already going. um but anyways, with this episode, I just really want you to be reminded that waiting is not wasting when it's placed in the hands of a faithful God, right? And so if you're stuck in between what God promised and what you're currently seeing, this episode is for you. Okay. And so, again, I just want to welcome you. And if you're new, welcome. I'm so glad you're here and that you found this podcast. I want to start by saying that I remember when we were waiting um, for Eliana's evaluation. And I'm going to start there really quick because I really feel strongly in my heart to share this. Now, as you guys know, both of my children are autistic. They both have an autism diagnosis. And so my daughter was diagnosed in 2018 and my son was diagnosed in 2021. Now, this is why I'm going to focus on my daughter because she's my oldest and she was the first one to get diagnosed. And so I remember just being in that waiting season. In that season of desperation, my heart was desperate. Not just for a diagnosis, but the just what's going to happen moment, right? And so I remember just wanting the answer right away. I didn't know really what to expect after getting a diagnosis, but I just know that in the waiting, there was a desperation within me for answers, for help, okay, for resources, which we know, okay, that they're not going to give you that at the doctor's office. I just want to give you a heads up. If you haven't gotten the diagnosis just yet, I just want you to know, don't be surprised when you walk in there and they just give you a paper that says your child is on the autism spectrum and this is it. The most that they told me, and again, it could be different now, but my experience, they did not give me any type of resources. All they told me was continue doing early intervention because at that time, Eliana was already getting early intervention before she was even evaluated for autism. So, because there were already some delays, so they suggested early intervention. But from there on, there was no type of other resources for my family. We kind of just had to figure it out by ourselves. And so that waiting period was just so painful. It was painful. Because you really want to help your child. And by the way, you could probably hear my son. Just an FYI. If y'all hear all the happy sounds, that's Jacob downstairs. But, I do want to say that waiting can feel like silence, but it's often the soil where God does his deepest work. I had to put that on here in my notes because I was like, wow, this is so true. This is so true. But I want us to acknowledge the weight of waiting. Like there's so much weight in the waiting that just thinking about it makes me emotional because it is so much that comes with it that people don't realize. And it's not just the weight of the waiting, but there's also the weight of the unknown. The unknown, because this is the thing. There are things that we wait for that we know are going to come. But there are also things that we are waiting for that we don't know if they will come. Like we're not sure, right? There's still so much uncertainty. And so here are some common waiting room seasons for not just autism families, but just all special needs families, right? There's the waiting on diagnosis. There's the waiting on insurance approvals. And we know how that can be. There's the waiting for a breakthrough in speech or behavior, or maybe a motor movement that your child is struggling with. There's the waiting on a support system. So, there's the fear, there's the frustration, there's the fatigue. Like, there's so much that comes with being in that waiting room. Okay, that's what we're going to call it. We're going to call it a waiting room when you're waiting for those things. And so I want to let you know that you are not weak for feeling weary. You're not. And you are human and deeply loved. So I just want you to take that into your heart and let it sit there. Let it sit there. How beautiful is it what our God says in his word, right? And so there's a couple verses, but there's one that I'm going to go ahead and pull up here, which is found in the book of Isaiah, chapter 40, verse 31. And If you have a Bible, feel free to open it. If not, there's also the Bible app. Um, but it says, "But they who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." What a beautiful reminder. And just the perspective change there, right? And so I know for me, um perspective is everything, right? And I feel like as a Christian, um reading my word, right? Reading the Bible and just surrounding myself with a godly community, a community that truly follows Christ and reflects him. Just changes my perspective on how I view my waiting season. And so I put this in my notes because I thought it was so powerful, right? When it came to mind, which is reframe the waiting, right? The waiting as a time of preparation, not punishment. And I think for those of us who are Christians, right? We're believers, or really for anybody, we tend to see the waiting season, especially when it doesn't come as fast as we want it to come, we tend to see it as a punishment. Like, oh my gosh, did I not meet this expectation that I was supposed to meet? Did I not do this the right way? Did I not parent my child the right way? And we start to just put all type of stuff in our heads, right? Because that's just what we do. We're human, right? We just do it. But I want you, as you're listening to this episode, I want you to take a moment and just really reframe your thoughts and say, my waiting season is a time of preparation and not a punishment. I really want you to think about that. And I really want you to take note of that. I want you to put it on a sticky note. Remind yourself of that. Okay. Read that sticky note as many times as you need to change your perspective, to shift it. Okay. Just shift it. And so God is not just working on the outcome during your waiting season, but He is also working on us in the process of waiting. That shook me to my core because I can tell you guys, I mean, how much I've changed as a person from the inside out. And there are still things that God is still working in me, still working, okay? Because I'm human and I'm not perfect. There's nobody perfect, excuse me, on this earth. But I want you to remember that God is not just working something out for you. He's not just working on the outcome. He is also working in you. He's working in you. That's what he's doing. And so embrace it. Embrace the messy times, the messy seasons, the chaotic craziness. Embrace it because there's beauty that's going to come out of that. Nothing comes out beautiful. I mean, think about for the moms that gave birth, okay? When you give birth, think about it, whether it's C-section or vaginal. Let me tell you, the baby comes out all bloody, all nasty, right? They're not clean. They don't come out clean, okay? But eventually they get cleaned up and you forget about everything. You forget how they looked exactly when they came out because you're focused in the moment, right? And so think about it. The process, the progress, the waiting, it's going to be messy. But there's beauty that's going to come out of it. And so I want to share really quick with you just a couple practical things that you can do in the waiting. Okay, here it goes. Take note of this. Number one, journal your prayers and emotions daily. Journal them. Let me tell you, I know they're in there. I know they're in your brain. However, I also know that it is hard sometimes to say the prayer out loud, to just, man, just yell, just cry out to the Lord. It's hard. It's hard to do that. So if it's better for you to journal it out, journal it out. And your emotions, how are you feeling? Because every day I'm having some type of emotion going on. If it's not uncertainty, then I'm sad about something. If it's not sad, then I'm happy about something. And it's interesting because I feel like happiness and sadness can definitely coexist. We can be sad about something, but yet there is something else in our lives that's making us happy and bringing joy. So I feel like there's always joy, no matter what we're facing, no matter what we're going through. Like, there is a way to find joy in the midst of your season. Okay. So I do want you to keep that in mind, but it's your choice. It's your choice to take hold of that joy. Okay. So, whatever emotion you're feeling, whether it's frustration, sadness, happiness, uncertainty, fatigue, fear, weary, whatever it is, doubt. Okay. That's a big one. That's one that I can say I struggle with a lot, even though you may not see that, but it's internal, right? Write it down. Another thing is create a thank you list of small wins with your child. This is a great one because you can always go back and revisit them when you're feeling stuck. Like that, those thank you lists, that thank you list, sorry, can remind you like there's still hope. Your child was able to do this. You're okay. It's going to continue to happen. Another big one is connect with other, autism families, special need families, or faith based support groups. As many of you know, I am the founder of the She's Crowned Ministry. It is an online community specifically for Christian special needs mothers all around the world. And we do a lot of amazing things, but one of those amazing things that we do is that we meet the first Friday of every month at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Zoom, and we have fellowship, we chat, we catch up, we cry, we laugh. um, we do Bible studies. It's an amazing time together with a group of moms that we just get it. Whether we're walking the same journeys, similar journeys, or different complete journeys, we still get it. We get it because we all experience similar emotions. That's reality. And so that's a big one. You need to find community. You cannot isolate yourself. Another one is I really want to challenge you, okay? This is a challenge. I want to challenge you to set a timer of 5 minutes daily, whenever those 5 minutes can happen, whether it's in the beginning of the day, the middle of the day, at nighttime, after you put your kids to bed, whenever that is, I want you to be intentional and set a 5 minute timer, whether it is to do a reflection of your day, to pray, to listen to worship music, to read a devotional, read a book. I want you to invest in that time. That's going to be an investment. I don't want you to think, oh, where can I add this? No, I want you to just do it. Just add it into your routine. Because if you try to find a new routine for that specific task, it's just not going to happen. So I really want you to just fit it into your calendar, fit it into your schedule. Because I promise you, there is at least 5 minutes in your day that you can take to just take a deep breath. That's it. Do it. And if you work, do it during your lunch while you're eating. Listen, it does not hurt. Find a podcast that's going to fill you up, that's going to make you, and amen if it's this one. I will hope so, right? But there's so many other great podcasts out there that I'm telling you, you guys, can help you. Okay. And another one is, which I thought was super cool, is to keep a progress jar. So, one note for every small breakthrough. So, if your child went potty for the first time, which I'm currently in the process of potty training my son, you guys, by the way, and he's doing fantastic. He is a very just compliant kid. Like, I cannot complain. He doesn't give me a hard time. Obviously, he peed once, and that one day, in the potty, and that one day, he did it 3 times in a row, which was impressive. And then, he hasn't really done it, but I'm still staying consistent. That's not going to stop me. So whether it's potty, whether it is that, oh my God, they learn to tie their shoe, Awesome. Oh my God, we got through a day at the supermarket without any meltdowns. That's progress right there. Write it down in that progress jar. I'm telling you, and if y'all make those progress jars, y'all better tag me, okay? Tag our podcast, excuse me, Instagram, or send it to me because I would love to see it. I definitely want to do this one for sure. I thought it was just such a great idea. I was like, oh, well, this would be a good idea. Um, so I just love that. And I just want to share really quick before we end the episode because this was just going to be super short and straight to the point. But, just my experience while waiting for my daughter's, school transition. As you guys know, you know, this year, well, the school year 2024-2025, she started at a charter school. And so it was definitely a lot. But one thing I will say is that I've learned is that when we really put our trust in God and we surround ourselves with people that are speaking life over our situation, you begin to see things so different with a heart full of hope that, listen, it's going to happen. And not just hope, but faith that it's going to happen. Because that's what faith is, if you didn't know. It is seeing the things that you want so bad happening. The things that are not there with your physical eyes, you are seeing it in the spirit because God is going to supply that. And so if you need a little bit of faith, I want you to be encouraged during this episode that the right timing is not your timing, is not my timing, it's not our child's timing. It's really not. It's not the doctor's timing. It is God's timing. And it is so easy to get caught up on the traditional milestones, right? Oh, for the doctor has a specific expectations on our children, right? The pediatrician. Well, they have not reached this milestone of their chart. We need to start working on that. Yeah, but it's not the pediatrician's timing. It is God's timing. No offense to any pediatricians, but that is reality. It ain't our timing. That's just all here on earth. That's just paper. Paper. At the end of the day, God designed your child to reach the milestones at the right time, which is his time. So I just pray. I know this episode was short, but I really pray that you were blessed, that you feel seen. Most of all, you feel seen because it's so easy to feel unseen and misunderstood in this world and in this journey specifically of special needs parenting, autism parenting. It's tough. It is tough, but one thing I know is that God did not create us to have fear. I would say we will experience fear, but he did not create us to live in that fear. And so if the world, I know there's been so much noise going on, if the world is, if you're feeling like, oh my God, those noise are feeding into you. No, I want you to take a moment and say, no, I can do this. My child can do this. We will get through this because you will. And I believe you will. So, you guys, first of all, I just want to say thank you for your constant support. For those of you that are always listening to the podcast every Friday faithfully, shout out to you. And just our previous episodes, I really hope you guys have been enjoying them. I have gotten lots of great feedbacks considering the last few episodes. And I mean, I'm just grateful. And I'm excited for the next few episodes to come as we continue with the season. And you guys, I cannot believe we are going on 2 years of the podcast in about a month in June. I believe it's in June. Yes, I think it's June. Why can I not remember? But I have a good feeling it is in June that we mark 2 years with the podcast. And I can't believe it. Something that just started, boom, here, and now it's here. So, again, thank you so much for tuning in. And don't forget to share this episode and stay tuned for the next episode of the Uniquely Wired podcast.